Hello everyone, my name is Boinu Vaipe. I'll be teaching Sociology for class 11 and 12. In the last class, we have discussed Unit 6, Structural Process of Change. Today, we're going to discuss Cultural Process of Change, which includes Sanskritization, Westernization, Modernization, and Secularization. Before we start, for your information, let me tell you that the books which I mentioned, NCERT textbooks, they are available online. If the shops are not open, you can download it. You can Google it, search the websites. They are not available in just one website. Just Google it, you will find it. Now we'll discuss Sanskritization. Sanskritization is a process by which a low caste or tribe takes over the customs, rituals, beliefs, ideology, and style of life of the high and in particular twice-born Dwaiser caste. Twice-born Dwaiser caste are those who belong to the upper three castes, that is Brahmins, Kshatriyas, and Vaishyas. The term Sanskritization was coined by M.N. Srinivas. Sanskritization is caused by the discrimination and ostracization of the lower caste by the upper caste. Sanskritization haibadi lower caste na upper caste ki matau maong tamba chaba thakpa phiron shetpa magi rituals puja tauba maong gumba adu mayam do imitate tauba so that moisu mina respect taunaba upper caste ki dignity respect to phangnaba aduga upper caste harakanda moina Brahmin ki matau maong dang nate, it can be Kshatriyas, it can be Vaishyas. Studies show that it operated differently in different parts of the country. In regions where non-Sanskritic castes are dominant, their influence were stronger. This is called desanskritization. Haibadi Sanskritization say maraktadi lamkhradadi, for example, in Eastern UP, Bihar dadi low caste sing, OBC sing, like Yadavs of Bihar, Jatavs of Agra, moina pale, moina rule tawe. Adugumma mafam dadi moina kesu upper caste ki maong mataudu kesu tamde. According to Srinivas, Sanskritization of a group has usually the effect of improving its position in the local caste hierarchy. Aduna Sanskritization adum kano copy them tawrag imitator agadi ultimately moisu last di mina upper caste moigi leiriba caste dagi hena wangna mina uba adu mayam amadu moina pamjabagi moina su Sanskritization se follow tawi. And Sanskritization se karam kanda when it usually takes place when the group, the caste or the family becomes wealthier. Paisa paira kanda, inakula kanda. Haibadi economically, income wise, my class is one kre. Paisa paira kre inakula kre. Adubu socially my class yam nemba. Adu eragadi ani do chana dredana. Paisa yam pairaga high class oigre. Adubu caste wise the low oibase. Adu mamatamda mana Sanskritization se amuk hena tawi. Lairaga dum leiba midi moina kesu kahena Sanskritization efforts si tawdre haibadi tawraga su dum ikan kana roidaba oibanena. Kumud Paure, a Dalit woman who became a Sanskrit teacher in her autobiography, gave an account of the mixed reaction she received when she studied Sanskrit. She mentioned what she heard somewhere. Quote, "What comes by birth but can't be cast off by dying, that is caste." Kumud Paure mase Dalit scheduled caste ni adu mana yam angang oringai degi school na mana Sanskrit se yam pamjarakpa. Sanskrit sida loan se khangagadi moigi shastra singda karibu ibza no nupi sibu kari su yam hanthana thammano society sida particular caste bu kari su yam nu usitaba nusidaba leibano se mana yam curious oibagi Sanskrit khangagadi adu mayam do paba ngamgani haibagi mana yam tamningba aduda mase otpa mayam ama de thengnar e mangonda yadaba mayam ama thagatpiba kharasu du adum thengnai aduda mana my autobiography the kanagumba amana hairamba se ka saibase pokpada dum yarakpa involuntary aisana pamjabagi nate sirakandasu hundokpa yadaba adu caste ni hai. Criticism of Sanskritization. Sanskritization has been criticized for exaggerating social mobility, for it leads to no structural changes, but only positional changes of some individuals. The ideology of Sanskritization accepts the ways of the upper caste as superior and that of the lower caste as inferior. Sanskritization se thinkers sing sociology sing yam criticize the way society the haibadi Sanskritization sin upper caste ki chatnabi na he na chumi he na phai, lower caste ki chatnabi na phatte chumde haibagum ama upper caste ki chatnabi sing se yam legalized over justify tawre, lower caste pu discriminate over so justify tawre. Aduga moina discriminate over si Shastra na suyai, like society na suyai haba ama justification aran ba ama puthorakre. Aduna Sanskritization is not very good or healthy for the society. Sanskritization seems to justify a model of inequality and exclusion, and justify pollution and purity of caste groups. Asing amang si phaye chumme. Moi taseng nama amot pa phatabani moi gatin na tot na bada akhoi desu phataba mang ba mayam ama lakadabani haibagumba ama mayam ama si chumi yaning ba society da si aseng amangi practice de justify tawkhre. Sanskritization results in the adoption of upper caste rites and rituals, leading to the practice of secluding women and adopting dowry practices instead of bride price. Haibadi Sanskritization the upper caste yam aphaba superior oiba status pi badagi lower caste nasu for example machanupi se mana moina di low caste oijaraga su upper caste imung da thajaningba hai luhung haningba haibadi imung da society da mina dignity gra phanga badaba ijat oibado adogi upper caste ki mi da dum maina luhongna ba hotna bada upper caste na chance lauraga Bengal gi Hindu high caste marakta nupi lon ba gi chatnabi haibadi nupi si marang kai rakhre atonbi oiraga su upper caste po oiraga de moi da thajaragi haba mayam ama su yaba mayam ama family su yaugre aduna nupi gi da hena exploitation nupi gi stages hena lower ohenba Sanskritization na adu su puthoi aduga Sanskritization na Dalit culture se erode tawi haibadi asiba sa gumba natraga hangoi pa tuka chaba amot pa sengdok pa se used to be the job of low caste. Haibadi caste ki characteristic feature ama se occupational association ne. Each caste has its own occupations. For example, barber caste, natraga goldsmith, blacksmith, water carrier. Adumaina each caste has its own occupations. Adumaina low caste ki outcast ki magi occupations hai amot pa sengdokpa latrine sengdokpa gumba se oi adu yam mi mamang da moi gi thabak se moi gi profession se haidokpa ngamdaba yam ikai ba hangoi ba oibado aduna Sanskritization na si se it rendered their job very shameful in front of others in the society. With the growth of anti-Brahmanical movement and the development of regional self-consciousness in the 20th century, there was an attempt in the several Indian language to drop Sanskrit words and phrases. Recent years have seen Dalits who now take pride in their identity. They have gained some pride and self-confidence. Mamange matam kram mamang dadi mana schedule caste ne hai base haidok pangam daba yam lo na min khangi ni ma schedule caste ne hai base haidok daba hojikti form main bada pakhada satra amasu ma schedule caste ne hai base da dum proudly haiba ngamba adugumba gi self confidence amma mayam amasu lakre haibadi in the 20th and 21st century, mainly in the early 21st century, anti-Brahmanical movements yam kalli aduna moi the self confidence I say me de hen ton manate I am equal with others in the society haibe wakhan ama lakre. Second, we'll discuss Westernization. Westernization is a change brought about in Indian society as a result of over 150 years of British rule occurring at different levels such as technology, institution, lifestyle, ideology, and values. There are different kinds of Westernization. The emergence of Westernized subcultural pattern through a minority section of Indians who first came in contact with the whites of the Western culture. These Indian intellectuals not only adopted many cognitive pattern ways of thinking and styles of life but also supported its expansion. Westernization haibadi British rule na maram oidana chahi chamaga yankhai rom leiramba officially leiramba se moina aduna maram oidana akhoi society da ahoma purakpa technology da industries mayam factories mayam laik tambagi da aduga lifestyle da wakhan da values ideologies mayam haibade equality liberty fraternity rationalization haibagumma mayam se Westernization as a result of British rule gi cause ne aduga Westernization se makhal khar lei. For example, direct British ka thengnabasing upper caste of those days, few sections of the society moina British ka direct interact oirakpanina moina British ki chawa thakpa moong matong mayamam se copy tawre aduga British na hairiba tambi takpiriba Western education, Western ideologies moina pra yaningre. And not only that, they imitate the Western people, but they also supported its expansion. Atai society dasu India dasu aduguma Western ideologies, values mayam amadu sandokpa pami. And apart from the few upper caste who imitate Western British lifestyles and ideologies and values, there were other sections, majority of the sections, because of the introductions of Western educations and English, the Westernization has spread to the other parts of the society as well. Westernization involves thus the imitation of external forms of culture. The most vivid example is that of Indian man wearing trousers, shirts, but not necessarily mean that he adopts modern values of democracy and equality. Haibadi mana phironda Western dress, khongrau, shirt mayam ama litpa yai, coat suit litpa yai, adubu mai wakhanda democracy da, equality da, liberation da, belief kaisu tawram da bayai. Haibadi mana Western dress na the ideologies to set laga summa pan the external the manung the wakhan yam orthodox oiramba yam yak yam narrow mind oiramba mi su bayai. Apart from the ways of life and thinking of Western influence, Indian art, literature and architecture as well were the influence of Westernization. Artists like Ravi Verma, Abanindranath Tagore, Chandu Menon and Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay were all grappling with the colonial encounter. Adumaina, not only in values, not only in education and ideology, but architect, arts, music, Western influence mayam amasu thingne. Srinivas suggested that while the lower caste sought to be Sanskritized, upper caste sought to be Westernized. Koigi M.N. Srinivas na mana haibadi lower caste na upper caste oinaba upper caste ki matong moong tami Sanskritized tawi aduga upper caste na English ki Western culture ki imitate tawi and Westernized oinaba hotne. However, today we find new forms of Westernization increasingly being Americanization, often called the New Raj. Mamangay dadi Westernization harakandadi English ki British ki maong matau tamba moy copy taubadu oi adubu hazikandi nahamrakta in our 21st century we imitate the Americans. Americanization haiba. English oraga su British accent tongali, American accent tongali aduga macha adum khar khenai. For example, in British system haitare dates khoina ngasi je dates for example 17 ne hai se date 17/05/2020 haina idana date na hali mathang da tha month last jahi adubu American gidi month na hali aduga date na tongale for example 9/11 haibe se September the tarikh 11 the World Trade Center attack toba adumaina ulta British se moina America so British na palami we all know right but then moina yaning da ba haisera pamjada ba we are already like you haibagi challenge ki mo haisera moina British culture se pra opposite taw me am se thengne ado today in our society America so west ne akhoi damakti nongchup ne aduna west means not only English but today it includes the Americans as well. The third, we are going to discuss modernization. Modernization refers to improvement in technology and production processes. It refers to the path of development that much of West Europe or North America has taken and suggested that other societies both have to and ought to follow the same path of development. Modernization, say Westernization ga yam mane, my meaning, my definition. Khara khenai modernization higher kan the development part chakhot na bat lam gi adugi part follow to bodu in terms of science and technology industries innovations adu mayam do modernization kawi. Modernity assumes that local ties and parochial perspectives give way to universal commitments and cosmopolitan attitudes. That the truth of utility, calculation and science take precedence over those of the emotions, the sacred and the non-rational based on choice, not birth, mastery rather than fatalism. Haibidi modernization na magi wakhan pikpa local attitude parochial village natraga lam machagi aigi tribe aigi community aigi family aigi parents adugi wakhandu thadoaga yam cosmopolitan oiba aina kari thabak tawningba aina kari aim tawba is defined by my not by my parents not by my community not by my tribe thainadi angang wa se ma se doctor ohanba sera ma se engineer tahan sera se my mama mapa dang nate my grandparents uncle aunties extended families mayam ama yauraga tanai aduga angang na pamba pamdaba khangde moi ma'am discuss tawrakanda family meeting tawraga nang doctor tamu adugumba mayam ama lay but in modernization mama mapa na doctor eraga so ai music pami ai singer oiningi ai film star oiningi haibagumba yam different independent way of thinking. People are influenced not just by local but universal context. How you behave, what you think is no longer decided by your family or tribe or caste or community. What job you wish to do is not decided by your parents nor by what your parents does but by what you wish to do. A scientific attitude gains ground and a rational approach matters. For example, yam rational scientific attitudes mayam amasu lakre for example gari tharo chatle hodong na sorok lale mi gadi because ai ngasi di yam chatpada daw yaroi hodong na sorok lankre aduna ai halagi haina magi thaba aruba leiraga su hanba but in rational scientific attitude o hodong do mana dum uchi ama ubagi tanaba oramasi ai adugi ma sorok tu kan oramgane aduna aina aduda nothing to do with my road crossing and the cat crossing my way aduna the minor hodong na sorok lan gera laloi adum man jakada badum chapa adu mama under vishwas mayam ama mangre modernity na maram oidana. And lastly but not the least we'll discuss secularization. It refers to the transformation of a society from close identification with religious values and institutions toward non-religious values and secular institutions. It is a process of decline in the influence of religion in the society. It has been assumed by all modernization theorists that modern societies become increasingly secular. Secularization haibdi society da samaj da religion gi role se handharakpa. Religion se na decide everything, religion na decide taudaba. Aduga modernization theory sing na moina study taraga moina what they conclude is akhoi hojikan gi society se hena secular oi haiba ama si moina conclude tawi. Adubu adugi should laitabadi nate adumaina secular di oi, but at the same time we see the growth of religious fundamentalism, radicalist movement, for example jihad haiba gumba hena society se secular oikraba hairagasu amurumda jihad kumba yam narrow mindset haigera adumaina misguided souls kara secularize ki opposite ta mayam amusu thengnai. Difference between Indian secularism and Western secularism. In the West, there is complete separation between state and religion. Neither the state nor the religious entities can interfere in each other's respective affairs. On the contrary, in India, secularism implies equal respect for all religion rather than separation between state and religion. State can interfere in religious affairs for progress and development, that is, progressive interference, example, triple talaq legislation, Hindu Marriage Act, etc. West study government state se religious affairs ta interfere taude pura mabani gi mari se separate oi. Aduga India dadi state na government na religious affairs ta interfere tawi taubayai phana babu oiragadi. Example, triple talaq legislation, Hindu Marriage Act. Haibadi Hindu Marriage Act na they prohibit polygamy. Adu mamayam ama phana ba chakhat na babu oiragadi, even the government interfere in the religious matters. Aduga Muslims ki mapan na chatpa lining ba chapagi government na khara mating pangba mayama muslei. So Indian government or the state is not indifferent to religious affairs. They interfere wherever, whenever necessary. To conclude, cultural process of change brings less deliberate yet decisive changes, unlike structural change. Sanskritization predates the coming of colonial rules, whereas Westernization, Modernization and Secularization is a complex response of the people of India to the changes that colonialism brought about. Sanskritization se British na lagtringai han dagi lerami adubu Westernization, Modernization and Secularization is the fallout, is the response of colonial rule. Today we have finished Unit 6. In the next class we will discuss Unit 7, State and Change, Constitutional Measures, Provisions. It is very interesting. Stay tuned. Until then, goodbye.